All right, folks, welcome back to the Don's channel. If you're new, welcome. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, in particular for the ones who are following me due to my AFL content. Massive apologies to everyone for not doing any content based on that. A couple of my videos from the past 2 years ago just went boom in America, and the demand for videos took over. Hi, mate. Took over everything else, and also the children are back at their sports, which is fantastic to see. All right, mate. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. My children are back at their sports, which is fantastic to see. It's been well over 6 months since they did anything, maybe longer. I honestly can't keep up anymore, so it's great seeing them back, and they're doing that about 4 or 5 nights this week. How are you? I'm good, thanks. Very good. Been very busy, as I was trying to explain before people came. Derby 52. Like me, pretty straightforward. Only seen the highlights of it. They're doing really well. Thanks very much. The kids are doing well. They're back at school. They've been back at school for a little while now. The schools were shut for ages, so we were homeschooling here. We had been in lockdown here we're only just out of lockdown there from Boxing Day, and we're only out of it maybe a week and a half now. So it was a long lockdown for us. No shops open or any of that. But your grocery shops, obviously, but none of your non-essential stuff. Who did I tip for round 8? Round 8 tips. I think I tipped the Tigers, who got demolished off the Cats. I'd have to go through it. I'll check. I tipped Port, Collingwood, I think, Giants, off the top of my head. I just can't remember. I'd have to look at it. How's it going, mate? Thanks very much for coming back. For people who haven't been here in a while, obviously we may not doing live streams for ages. I'm planning on getting in contact with Diane, who is a friend of the channel, about doing a live stream. It's AFL quiz, which I've done before, so it's AFL quiz stuff. I do, mate. I do. I remember you. So hopefully I can get in touch with her. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I deleted Facebook because I was getting fed up of it, you know. But it's certainly something I'm going to have to do, is try and get in touch with her in regards to doing an AFL quiz live stream. I found them to be pretty enjoyable to do, and I think a lot of other people enjoyed it too. So should be good. If anybody's got any questions, give me a shout. It's been a while from I've done it, so I'm happy to answer anything. Obviously, we've got Melbourne there, the Demons. I think that's 8-0 now as well, isn't it? So they've started really, really well. Quite incredible, to be fair. I don't think anybody would have predicted them to go on such a good run, never mind this. But it'll be interesting to see as the season goes on just how well they can go. But they've done themselves the world of favours. I don't think I predicted them near the top 8, to tell you the truth. Facebook page. I don't enjoy Facebook, mate. The reason being, when I had Facebook, it was just people banging on about politics and all that stuff. I'm not into politics. Everybody's got their opinions. Everybody's got opinions on stuff. But I feel that people on Facebook are very forceful with theirs, and if you don't agree with them, then you're either less intelligent than they are, or they think you're some sort of lowlife. So I just don't enjoy Facebook whatsoever. I find it a very false environment as well. I think people are keeping up appearances, try to keep up with the Joneses, and I find it very fake. So that's why I've lost all interest in that particular platform. You have, mate. Thanks very much, Corey, mate. Hello, Leanne. Welcome. United States there. Well, I don't know what time of the day you're at. I'd imagine it's something, depending on where you are, it could probably be about 10:30, 9:30 in the morning, roughly. I'm just guessing if you're on the East Coast, it's probably about 10:30 in the morning there. So welcome, Leanne, US. you're heading to work. I'm off today, so I'm happy with that. It's 10 p.m. in Perth, Australia. So we've got quite a lot of Aussies joining, obviously, with the AFL content. My recent, as I was mentioning there at the very, very start of the video, in case people have joined just after it, the reason why I'm doing quite a lot of American content is I did a video 2 years ago, the Star Spangled Banner, as you've never heard it before. And for all of it, I think it only had a few thousand views, and then out of nowhere, I think it went up to about 130, 140,000 views in a space of a few weeks. So, you know, the volume of requests from there has kind of put the AFL stuff to one side, really, for me, because you're trying to keep everybody happy and do a lot of reactions. Plus, I really enjoy doing reactions that folk want to do anyway. So, it's just one of those things. Supply and demand. East Coast. I'm going to guess, if you're watching my channel, you're not up in towards New York. I would say you're down near. I'm going to have a guess. I'm going to go with you are from Florida, Leanne. Florida. If somebody's asking me, it's 8 in the night here, I came home from work, that's supper dip. Supper dip. So I don't know how we pronounce that. Chen Bosco, where are you? I'm in Northern Ireland right now. Yeah, I've got the Aussie flag in the background. That was gifted to me actually by my wife's cousin's son. So he's really into the channel. He's actually from Northern Ireland, my wife's cousin's son. So he quite enjoys watching the AFL stuff that I do, and because of that, he's actually become quite a big AFL fan. I think he watches probably more stuff out with the actual live games than what I do recently. So fair play to him, and I think he's a bit of a Bulldogs fan as well, just like myself. So it's good to see foreigners enjoying the game. Thanks very much. Somebody said handsome boy. Cheers from Indianapolis. Your national anthem spot was incredibly moving. Thanks very much, Karel. Look, the American national anthem is an absolutely phenomenal anthem. It's one of those ones that just gets into you. I don't know what it is. There's just some songs that just gets into you. And plus, being quite patriotic anyway, I always respect people's anthems. Because I know what it's like. You love your own country, and the American one just has this thing. I don't know if it's to do with, like, when I've been watching the Olympics from I was no age, and America cleaning up all the gold medals going, and you hear the Star Spangled Banner and that flag going up all the time, always winning the Olympics, up there with China and Russia getting the most goals, as we always lag behind. But just hearing that anthem, like Carl Lewis, Michael Johnson, all these guys. Remember Michael Johnson with the run? And he had the gold boots on. He used to run so straight back. He was 200-meter sprinter for America. Absolutely incredible. Loved it, guys. I don't know if my love of the anthem maybe started back then, but so iconic. And of course, the military, the stuff related to it in the military aspect as well. It's just win-win. I'm obviously ex-forces, so seeing how proud most US people are of their forces is brilliant to see. It's something that maybe the UK could do better at, to be honest with you. But it's just, as I say, the Americans' love for their forces is brilliant to see. Just read another couple of comments there. 10:28, yep, so it's probably 10:31 now here in southeast coast of Florida. Thanks very much, Elizabeth. Northern Ireland is Northern Ireland part of the English Kingdom? I think you mean the United Kingdom. Yes, it's part of the United Kingdom. There's four main, well, you call them countries, states, whatever. 4 countries within the United Kingdom: Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and England. Obviously, the Republic of Ireland have got their independence there. They're an independent country of their own. It's quite it's quite a political thing to talk about, but yeah, I'm in Northern Ireland. Midnight here in Adelaide, South Australia. Trevor Roth. Port Adelaide obviously winning the showdown today against the Adelaide Crows. Tim Hefty, to be fair, I think Fortunate Son would be an even better anthem, laughing out loud. And do you want to know something, Tim? I know that song very well. I'm a huge, wait for it, I'm a huge Creedence Clearwater Revival fan, and it features in quite a lot of war films, particularly based around the Vietnam War. It's actually more of an anti-war type song, but Fortunate Son, the words of it's brilliant. It's just kind of like rubbing salt into the sort of the politicians and all that there, and the rich people who send these sort of working class, lower class people off to fight their battles for them, and it's just like, look, we're no. But you just need to listen to the words. I'm not going to explain it too much. Corelli, are you a racing fan? The Indy 500 is coming up soon. Favourite racer? I've got to be honest with you. I'm not saying I'm not a racing fan. My knowledge isn't good on it. So just one of those things. We do have a race here in Northern Ireland, the Northwest 200. It's the Superbikes, which is gets quite a crowd. Don't know if it'll be on this year because of COVID, but hopefully it does get quite a lot of people coming from all parts of the world who are into that sort of racing. Up the Rangers, 55 times the Kings of Scotland. That's Rangers Football Club in Glasgow. That's my team that I support. Very passionate fan. Leanne here, lived in Florida 10 years. Great guess, but West Virginia, closer to DC. Got to run. Take care till next time. Thanks very much for joining, Leanne. Hopefully I will catch you on another live stream. I've actually just ordered a new webcam. I know the audio is going to be decent because I've got a proper mic that I've bought for myself ages ago to do the live streams. But this is just the camera from the laptop here. So hopefully the picture is actually pretty good for you as well, and there's no lagging or anything like that. But I've ordered a better webcam. Hopefully it'll make the visual viewing better for you. You're from Kirkwall, Scotland. I've just been in Australia since I was 6. Well, Corey, Kirkwall is in Orkney Island, so you're actually way up at the very, very, very top. An island off the north coast of Scotland. It would be bloody freezing up there, mate. So I think you've picked a better place to live. Why you like to join the YouTube? YouTube is, I really enjoy YouTube. I've actually met loads of good people through YouTube. I've actually made friends through doing this channel, which is quite surprising. I think for anybody who would be making a channel wouldn't really think, oh, you make friends doing it. I actually have quite a lot of personal friends that I've made from this channel. Tim's probably one of them as well. I talk to regularly. Well, maybe not so much recently, but we've spoke on and off over the time that he's followed the channel. So people like that there. I've got another couple there with the Aussie Rules stuff that I do that have become quite decent friends of mine as well. And I talk to them on a regular enough basis too. So that's one good reason. Plus, it's a hobby. It's something I enjoy to do as well. So it's good. The channel grows. I'm getting to be creative and make some different types of videos, discover new things. Like there's stuff that I'm learning from different parts of the world I possibly wouldn't have heard or seen, that I've been pointed in the direction of from subscribers of the channel or friends of the channel, made me aware of them. And then you get more knowledge through doing it as well, and a little bit more respect for people's different cultures and countries, whatever I'm doing. So you're learning stuff. It's a hobby and also making friends. So I hope that's answered your question slightly. CCR, great 70s bands. You are right, Elizabeth. Absolutely love Creedence. Quite a few brilliant songs. I think Tina Turner did the cover with Ike Turner of Proud Mary. That's an absolute classic from Creedence Clearwater Revival. Fortunate Son's another one of my favourites. Have you ever seen the rain? Quite like that. Bad Moon Rising, brilliant. I suppose I'm naming probably the most famous ones there, but they really are. When you hear them, there's no mistaking them. You get your Glasgow Rangers shirt, mate. Well done, brilliant. I hope you like it. Tim, later today I'm going to visit the site of former world's largest ammunition plant. Whereabout is that, Tim? I know you're up north in America there, but I don't know if you're travelling or where you are, so just out of curiosity. So let's recap. There's a few people here from new people. Leanne, she's just left. Elizabeth, I think you said you were from Florida. Thanks very much for joining. Obviously, Corey, I know you. Tim, I've known you for a while as well. Chen, not too sure who you are. You can tell me where you're from. That would be nice. You've been binging Craig Ferguson late night show. Is he big in Scotland? Well, to be honest with you, mate, it's not something I've watched. I know who he is. I don't think it's a big show in Scotland. I don't think it's a big show in the UK, to tell you the truth. But I have actually seen one of his interviews recently. Shock City. I'm going to be honest with you here, mate. I don't even know where that is. I don't even know what state that's in. I've never heard of that city before in my life, but anyway, it sounds good. It's the Badger Army ammunition plant near Shock City, I believe it would be pronounced. I'm good, thanks, Chen. Just wondering where you're from, Chen, as well. So, as I was saying at the start as well, I will be doing more of the Aussie Rules content again for obviously people who have followed the channel because of Aussie Rules. It is coming. Find it very difficult right now because I went from being quiet to so busy and trying to manage my day again. It's been hectic, but we'll get there. I'll get it all sorted. Now, I want to do a few more live streams, probably at times that are best suited for everyone. Trying to find a time that will suit people from the US, people from the UK, people from Australia or New Zealand, people from other parts of the world that have followed the channel as well. So it's quite difficult. Maybe an earlier time here would be a little bit better, but not too early for those in US. Elizabeth, 70s gave us some of the greatest bands and music in history, still popular in 2021. Well, this is actually quite funny. Very true that. And I know when the lockdown first started, I don't know what lockdown was like for you in Florida there. I don't think you've had it locked down just as bad restrictions as what they've imposed on us here, but there was a video going viral of everybody doing Fleetwood Mac, like sort of daft videos with the Fleetwood Mac soundtrack. There was ones with Annie Lennox, obviously. I can't remember if it was Walking on Broken Glass or Sweet Dreams. The one Sweet Dreams are made of these. That one. I can't remember what song it was. So you've got Annie Lennox there and Fleetwood Mac making a bit of a comeback, which is brilliant because I love both of them. And of course, there's loads of good 70s bands like Queen as well. Led Zeppelin lovers out there, I think they're timeless classics as well, along with like AC/DC. So many bands, 70s, 80s. My father would say 60s, 70s, 80s, and then into the 90s. What a music period. But obviously, I'm a bit of an old heart. I think I prefer music from that era more than what I prefer music from this era. I just can't relate to it. There's only so much Lady Gaga, Rihanna, and all these people, Justin Bieber or whatever his name is, just this computerized music with them acting like idiots on the stage rather than somebody in a band blasting out the guitar and just a pure voice. Absolute talent, writing their own lyrics, playing their own music, not being told to do this, that, and the other, not being actually made to dress in the most ridiculous outfits. I know they did in the 70s before somebody says anything. I know rock bands like Kiss and everything with a, but that was their stage thing, wasn't it? But ultimately, they wrote their own songs, played their own music. And one of the things I will say about Bieber, just defending him, he is actually very musically talented, but the music industry has told him pretty much, here, you're not doing that anymore. This is what we've got for you. Singing all these stupid songs, like you repeat the same word over and over again, like Katy Perry, the most talentless wonder I've ever seen in my life. She played Tea in the Park or something in Scotland or Glastonbury or one of these festivals in the UK, and she just bounced about like an idiot doing that fireworks song, and her voice was like 100 cats squealing, fighting each other, having a dose of diarrhea or something. I don't know what it was, but she cannot sing live, and she jumps around like an idiot on the stage to try and distract you from the fact that that woman cannot sing. Really, so I find myself a bit of an old heart, like old music. I like Southern music, American country music, sort of Tennessee, Nashville type stuff. Really enjoy all that kind of stuff. One of my bands that I've enjoyed over the last few years, Zach Brown Band. I don't know if you've heard of that. I think they're from Georgia in the south. That's where I think I would want to live. If I was living in America, right, that is where I would want to live, in the south, in Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Virginia, all these places. I think they've got the soul. I think that's where, I think as a Scotsman, you look at that and you can see you've got a bit of similarities in the mentality, and I just prefer that. See the big cities away up north, not really for me, or Los Angeles or Las Vegas, any of them. Don't do it for me, but the south, you know what I mean? Right into that. Conor McKenna did leave the AFL. He's back now in Northern Ireland. He's playing the local sport here, and a bit of horse racing too, I believe. Elizabeth, you agree? Oh, well, you've probably got a bit of an old heart like me with the older stuff. Hello, Assam. I don't know how you say your name. Apologies for that. Direct message. Does anyone know of any UK channels that specialise in the MLS soccer reactions? No. But I'll tell you something. The only thing I'll say about reactions to sport is these television companies, these sports companies that have the rights to these games, if I do a reaction to that, I could get a copyright strike against my account. That's strict because they pay that much money for the rights of it. It's almost puts you off doing it. So possibly the reason why you're not seeing much MLS soccer reactions might be that the TV companies might be very strict with what parts of the videos or whatever you're allowed to react to, and they might impose a copyright strike on you. And I know sports ones are quite commonly do that, especially UFC. UFC was one of the worst animals in it. They do not like anybody using even a bit of their stuff. They will copyright strike you bang like that there. So I try and avoid certain things that I know that it's just not worth even doing it. Carrie Underwood. Oh, brilliant. Love Carrie Underwood. Reaction to music. Wydad. Love Wydad. Obviously in Casablanca there, Morocco, there's two massive clubs, Raja and Wydad. Wydad playing the red and Raja playing the green. Massive rivals, and they have an iconic thing where the two sets of fans sit in half of the stadium each, and they choreograph these wonderful fan displays. The noise, the flares, the bouncing about, the atmosphere is just incredible. One of the best derbies in the world for a football, soccer sense. All right, are you kidding, mate? How you doing, mate? Super late here in Melbourne, but wanted to say hello. Hope you and the family are well. Yes, we are. We are well. Thanks very much for asking, mate. Really appreciate it. Not sure the funny moments of what. How do you do reactions? The funny moments of what, mate? Just out of curiosity, I've just missed what you've asked before that. You can make funny reaction videos. Yeah, I think that's maybe a question, not a particular. Can I do a video of something? Yeah, you can do loads of different stuff. I've done stand-up comedians, reactions to them. Hello from Perth, Cameron. Hello from Northern Ireland. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks very much for joining. Really appreciate it. Anybody got any questions? Fire away, like if in relation to the channel or things that you've maybe enjoyed that we've reacted to or that we've done videos on. Any comments? Welcome as well. Yeah, the Wydad Ultra is absolutely unbelievable. Really, really good. Several derbies in the soccer football world. Wydad and Raja, obviously. You've got Boca Juniors and River Plate in South America there in Argentina. You've got Galatasaray, Fenerbahce in Turkey. Of course, Rangers and them. Celtic, that is. In Scotland, Glasgow. Not really any big ones in England, to tell you the truth. They'll try and sell you Man United and Liverpool, but I'm not buying that. It's two brilliant teams, two institutions, two fantastic sets of football teams. The fans don't get on, but I'm not buying that it's a rivalry. Not a chance. I'm not having it. Barcelona, Real Madrid fall into that similar category. They don't even play in the same city. Yes, historically, two fantastic football clubs. There's maybe a political thing there with Barcelona being Catalonian. Obviously, Real Madrid coming out of Madrid, the capital city of Spain. So you've got that sort of independence vibe of Catalonia, Barcelona being their main club. You have that sort of political thing going on there. So I can understand the rivalry to that one. But I'm not having it. It's one of the biggest derbies in the world. I've seen videos saying, oh, these are bigger than the Old Firm and everything. It just makes me laugh. I've experienced Old Firm games, and they're in a different level to what you're going to see in Spain, Italy, France, Germany. The Turkish one's probably the only one that I would say is more aggressive than the Old Firm one in Europe. Serbia, of course, you've got... my head's went blank. Red Star Belgrade and Partizan Belgrade. Two clubs that absolutely hate each other. By their own rights, they're up there with the Old Firm as well. I just don't think they get the same crowd anymore. I'm not too sure even if they're allowed to have the two opposing fans in the same ground as each other. That's how much they don't get on, which is quite interesting. What age was I when I started the Dons channel? Good question. I actually don't even know. I would say the Dons channel is now going for about 3 years. We're nearly at 100,000 subscribers. So on that note, share any videos that you like with your friends and family or on any of your platforms, social media platforms. It really does help the channel grow. I'm determined to get to 100,000 in 2021. The numbers are actually going up quite quickly this last couple of weeks, and I think that's to do with old videos that I've done from America with the Star Spangled Banner, which I've already touched on, being one of my favourite national anthems. I love national anthems. I don't know what it is. I really do. And I respect them all. It's the anthem of everybody's country, and it means something to them. So I respect that. But the American one is slap bang up there with the Scottish one for me. It really does. And the Welsh one as well, when they're playing England in the rugby. Wow, check that one out. Incredible. But I think it was about 3 years ago I started the channel. Showdown, Port Adelaide won it. Well done, Port. Apparently, it wasn't that great a game. I never seen it because I was actually my daughter's actually not been feeling too great today. But I've been looking after her a wee bit, so that's just that. The Righteous Brothers. I have heard of the Righteous Brothers. Actually, I think were they the ones that sang the Unchained Melody, the original ones? Would I be right in saying that, Elizabeth? Loves Wydad and Man City. Fair enough, Man City, they're going to be in the Champions League final. The one thing I don't like about Man City is, as a club that's been born out of money, let's be honest here, they are a good, they have got a fan base, a decent, humble size fan base, not a huge one, but they will become a huge fan base purely because of money, and money's been able to buy them success. So on that note, yeah, great to watch, great team, but it's been born out of money, isn't it? So it's really difficult for me to really enjoy it. Planning a surprise for 100,000 subs. Are you kidding me? Good question. Well, I actually did have a video on ages ago, probably over a year ago, and I still haven't made the 100,000 subs. I was actually going to do a prize, a giveaway. It was actually a giveaway. Loads of Don's channel merchandise. Of course, I have the old logo. I also have the new logo, which is like your NFL, NHL, AFL, all the gladiator sports where rugby, where men are men on the football field or on the ice, etc., on the rugby field, and they hit each other, and it's a big gladiator type sport. I created, because I was doing a lot of sports reactions, a gladiator sort of badge with the Don's channel logo on it. There's hoodies there. They actually come up. You can buy that merchandise if you want. It's actually very good quality. I don't have a hoodie to hand beside me here, and I don't really want to leave the live stream. In fact, I might, just 1 second, I might. So, I get it the right way around. That is actually our channel hoodie. The logo is a bit smaller than people would think, but it works well with the sort of front pockets on the front. But good quality anyway. I just want to show you, it is very good quality. They're for sale. You can actually buy them through YouTube. I think it's a crowd called Teesprings does them, and it's pretty quick delivery as well. I don't get involved in it really whatsoever. You can buy it yourself. I don't need to get involved and get delivered to you. This is Sparta! The gladiator just seems that popping up there. I had to do that. And of course, Gerard Butler is Scottish, although he supports the green and white side of the city. But yeah, he's been in Hollywood for a right while now as well, hasn't he? So yeah, you can get those hoodies if you want, no pressure whatsoever. But it's just something that on the live stream I should say, because somebody's mentioned planning surprise 100k subs. Yes, I am. When I get there, I was going to do a prize draw for anybody who had entered correctly on that 100,000 subs video. So scroll somewhere and find that on the Don's channel page. It should be there, and follow the correct procedure. I might make a new one to update it slightly, but there's going to be a box of goodies getting sent with relation to our channel to the lucky winner. Maybe do a second place winner as well. So if you're not in it, you don't win it. It's as simple as that. Obviously, sharing the videos is very important to the channel as well. It does help the channel grow. All right, Robert, mate, welcome to the channel. No talk to you in a while. How are you doing? I hope you're well. Good day, everyone who's joining. Mentioning the William Wallace accent, of course, played by Mel Gibson in Braveheart. The accent wasn't brilliant. The film is Hollywood. Let's just say it's Hollywood. You know what I mean? It's not historically correct. A lot of it's off. A lot of it's not right, which is quite frustrating for anybody who cares about looking into the sort of history of it. Once you realise the history of it, it puts you off. Somebody's actually mentioned a while ago there as well. A lot of comments coming through on that video that I've said the Star Spangled Banner as you've never seen it before, or as you've never heard it before, I should say. My reaction, the original video that was made, there's factual mistakes in it, whether or not it's been overhyped or exaggerated to make the story sound a little bit better. Actually, some people have said it is a bit of an insult to them. Well, like, of course, I was only reacting to a video, so it's not. I can't blame myself on that, but I do apologise that people would be annoyed by it, because I can relate with the Braveheart movie where that's factually incorrect. There's certain things that it does bother me a little bit, but like, let's not let the truth get in the way of a good story. Isn't that what they say? But in reference to the Star Spangled Banner, as you've never heard it, I think it was done by a minister or a preacher or something over there in America. I don't know what denomination he is now, but he's known for exaggerating videos, apparently. I've been reading in the comments, so that's pretty disappointing. But if you care to actually check out the real story is actually pretty brilliant anyway. And of course, Francis Scott Key did write the poem that later became the Star Spangled Banner. So historically, it's a very good story, and I stand by my reaction to it. I didn't know the ins and outs. Obviously, you're trying to learn. As I said way back near the start of the video, one of the things that I enjoy about doing the channel is learning more things. And sometimes a lot of videos have been corrected over time. They've been corrected over time, and that's okay. That's good. I welcome that, because in the comment section, I also learned quite a lot about certain things. I'm looking at doing the Confederate War there, the Civil War in America between the Confederate States and the Yankee States, of course, the North and the South. I know what way politically that's being perceived these days, but purely on a historic curiosity, that's why I want to do it. I want to learn a little bit more about it. I do know I think my knowledge is decent. I think my knowledge is decent on it, but I would like to learn a little bit more. So I'm going to dig into a few more videos on that. Hopefully find one that will be enjoyable to react to and also enjoyable for viewers, but also have ultimately something I can learn a little bit more about. That battle, of course, I'm going to do a bit on the Alamo I mentioned as well. I'm quite interested in the Alamo as well. I do know a little bit about about it. The interesting thing about America is as well, like obviously, it's likewise with Australia. Well, a lot of people from Australia that follow the channel, a lot of Scots went to both of those countries. So it's very interesting on that note, being a Scotsman, and particularly a Scotsman now that lives in Northern Ireland. Of course, Northern Ireland sits in the province, of the old province of Ulster, which the 4 provinces made up the whole of Ireland. And it was particularly the ones from Ulster where Northern Ireland is now. There's only 6 counties of Northern Ireland that were 9 of Ulster, if you get me. But the Scots that went to Ulster ultimately went over to America, and they had a lot to do with the building and the creation of the United States as it is now. But particularly a way back, of course, I'm going to say the Alamo, Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett's roots can actually be traced back to Northern Ireland. Actually, Northern Ireland, and also I can't remember if it's Antrim or Tyrone, but I do remember reading something that Davy Crockett, the song Davy Crockett. This man was killing bears at 3-year-old, or a bear killing himself a bear when he was only 3. If you know the song, it's a daft song, but it's pretty good. Davy Crockett, he had that old raccoon tail coming out the back of his hat. Very recognisable indeed. But learning a little bit about that, and the Yellow Rose of Texas or something as well. It's a song as well that I was wanting to do a reaction to. I've seen quite a few songs that have popped up now. I don't know which ones are now being classed as contentious. I'm not really interested in that. I'm still more than happy to do reactions on them, because there's no point in shooting down history like it's today's generation's fault that things that happened in the past that were maybe wrong happened. It's not our fault. But I do want to learn about it, because I believe the only way that you can progress and move forward united is by not repeating past wrongs and stopping them and learning from them, isn't it? So it's certainly something that I'm not afraid to do reactions to, and purely on a learning basis about each of those things. Just going back up to comments I may have missed, because I was talking there about a little bit of things that I'm interested in doing reactions to on the American side of things. But obviously I was mentioning Australia, with the Scots that went to Australia as well, colonising it. It's quite interesting to see when I talk to people, I've got a certain member of my grandparents or whatever, they've came from Scotland, in this part of Scotland, etc., etc. And likewise with Australia, I've had people in New Zealand doing something similar. Lots of the Commonwealth countries. Canada's huge. Canada's massive. I've actually got my own family's members that have went to Canada and stayed there, never came back, lived there they've had their children there, grandchildren there. So it's obviously, it's really something I'm interested in. Obviously America's not Commonwealth, but they've got their independence from Britain. But the way it was built, etc., the history of it is very interesting to me. And also a lot of the US presidents. I'm going to do a US president reaction video, and I'm hoping it says where they're from. I really don't know if it will do that, but where their family tree originated from, because a lot of them, like I was saying, Davy Crockett, come from the Ulster Scots, the Scots that came to Ulster during the plantations in 1607 or 60, and then they colonised Ulster in 1609, and then went over to America. A lot of the presidents actually have their roots. Can't remember if it's about half of the US presidents' roots would come from this part of the world. So it is something that's very interesting to me. If you want to look up the history on Ulster Scots, there's lots of stuff on it on YouTube. It's very interesting. It's something I enjoy anyway. Maybe more in my old age than what I would have done when I was young at school and always messing about and trying to show off to the girls or whatever, or my mates, and not really paying attention. But since I've grew up a little bit, I'm really interested in learning a little bit more about that stuff. Simon and Garfunkel, obviously they do that song that Disturbed, I think, cover better. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Really love that one. Simon Garfunkel, really good. Thanks very much, Elizabeth. I think I might do. I've got another Whitney Houston one that I was asked to do via Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can. I don't have Twitter anymore, and I don't have Facebook, but Instagram I don't mind, because it's really just photos, but you can still talk to people privately as well. Oh, that sounds good, Robert, mate. Getting an old railway museum running again. That's quite interesting as well. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that at some point. If you're, I don't know, message me through Instagram, mate. Tell that if you've got any pictures, show me some pictures on that. That's quite interesting. Are you kidding me? That is actually a very good suggestion. Some good vids on Australia's early history for you to react to. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm trying to think back. I've done loads of Aussie content. I mean, a lot. I've done comedians. I've just done loads of obviously the sports in Australia. I've done quite a bit of different stuff as well, but the geography stuff as well. But that historical side of thing, that is interesting. I've done your military stuff, military songs from obviously the Anzacs and Gallipoli and the Vietnam War. I've done a little bit on that, but the early years sounds very, very interesting indeed. Thanks very much. Elizabeth, lots of Scottish people ended up in North Carolina. North Carolina, would I be correct in saying one of the earlier presidents, one of the first presidents would have been from North Carolina? Now, I haven't watched the president's video. I'm just trying to think if it was Washington or Jefferson. One of them actually came from North Carolina. Would I be correct? That I think I'm around the ballpark. I could be wrong, but I know one of the very, very early presidents, the founding presidents of the United States of America, think came from North Carolina, or else lived there maybe. 50% and 25% English, 25% of, if no one's laughing out loud, 2 generations Aussie. That's pretty interesting, mate. I didn't realise you actually had about 50% Scottish. That's good. I'm half Cornish and half Irish. Are you kidding me? Where are you from? Like, where are you? You're from Melbourne, but I've seen you actually. I always took you for. Are you kidding me, mate? Whereabout is your family? You always did you move over there? I always get confused. Sometimes I think President Jackson, Andrew Jackson, North Carolina. I knew. And if you rank them in order, and I know I'm going to be doing this, so I really shouldn't do it. I'm going to be doing a reaction to the presidents, and it's going to be going through them in order. I think it's about 10 minutes long. It might even be 2 parts, but I'm hoping it tells you the roots of them. If it doesn't, I'll be pretty disappointed, because that's what I want to learn about. Because of what I was saying with the Ulster Scots roots that a lot of these guys have. Obviously, living in Northern Ireland, I'd be interested to see, well, where did their family came from? That's quite close to where I live now. Or whereabout in Scotland did they originate? Have I been there, or etc. And I suppose that's what actually intrigues quite a lot of Americans, and indeed quite a lot of Aussies. Where did my family come from? Are you kidding me saying he's Cornish, which is obviously the West Country, and Ireland as well, of course, another country that played a huge part in America as well, and Australia. So it's quite interesting for you guys learning a little bit about where your family's roots originated too. So in my perspective, going over to these new worlds, seeing the journey, the voyage over, and what they did when they got there, obviously, so many different things. It must have been absolutely crazy, just trying to discover all these new things, and obviously a bit of a gold rush up towards the Yukon as well. We had sugar, we had all these new foods, the cotton, everything, loads of different things that they were discovering and managing to make kind of like a fortune out of as well. One interesting thing as well, I will say, there's a guy, I'm actually originally from Dunfermline, which is in the east coast of Scotland, in Fife. And Dunfermline's most famous person, he was actually at one time, and he actually would probably be worth, I think they said in today's money, something ridiculous. I think it was hundreds of billions he would be worth. He was that wealthy. He was the richest man on the planet at the time. Just a little guy known as Andrew Carnegie. Of course, he went over to America, made his fortune in America. You've got the Carnegie Hall. I think that's in New York, isn't it? What's the quickest way to the Carnegie Hall? Practice. I'm really sorry for that. The quickest way to the Carnegie Hall is to practice, but that's named after Andrew Carnegie, who was from Dunfermline, and he actually came back to Dunfermline, and he bought Pittencrieff Park, which is known as the Glen. Locally, we call it the Glen, and it's a beautiful park. It's free to go around. It's got lovely botanic gardens in it. It's got loads of parks for the kids to go in, swing parks and stuff like that. But it's a beautiful walk. There's a little river that goes through it. There's little caves in it. You've got King Robert the Bruce Abbey right beside it, where King Robert the Bruce is buried. His body. People say his body because I believe his heart is actually buried somewhere else. Strange. I know these things happened back then. But Dunfermline's an ancient capital of Scotland, so that's where Andrew Carnegie, as I say, he came from. And there's a big statue of him in the Pittencrieff Park that he bought. He bought it and gave it free to the public. So he's a good guy. Maybe people would say he wasn't a good guy, because I know a little bit about the history that people are going crazy about in this last couple of years about things that he did. But I prefer to just think about what he sort of achieved rather than what he did, which was legal back then and which isn't now, and rightly so. But people focus on that stuff, and his statue and stuff got defaced and wrecked, and it really upsets quite a lot of local people seeing that, because he's quite popular in and around Dunfermline, obviously being our most famous son. So that was Andrew Carnegie. He's from Dunfermline. That would be good, Corey, if you could do that. I hope you do, and you'll enjoy it. Thanks very much, Elizabeth. I know around about those guys. I knew a little bit. I can't off the top of my head remember the order, but I am doing it, so I will learn, and I won't be able to get that confusion again. But it was Jackson. I knew it was one of the earlier ones, anyway, North Carolina. So pretty happy enough with that. There you go. John Forbes. General John Forbes is, are you kidding me? I don't know if you've just battered into Google any more famous people from Dunfermline. John Forbes, I have heard of him yet. Of course, one of our local regiments as well. The Black Watch. It's I served in the Black Watch, but the Black Watch is quite a funny one, because they fought against the Jacobites, so they were obviously protecting the Highlands against the Jacobite rebellion. But ultimately, when I'm talking about America, I quite like the Jacobite rebellion that went on against there to free them of British. It's a strange one. I served in the British Army, which the Black Watch did, which I'm proud of. But also, I like what the people that possibly from Dunfermline as well would have fought against the British to get their independence. So, it's history at the end of the day, isn't it? We never lived it, but it's quite interesting. But the Jacobite rebellion in Scotland did get crushed, but in America it didn't. Are you kidding me? A question. Did you just batter that into Google? Google search who else is famous? I'm sure you did. If you knew that, I know him, but at the top of my head, I never had him there. Wikipedia, mate. The good old Wikipedia. Brilliant. Getting quartered, of course, William Wallace. You're getting confused possibly with William Wallace and King Robert the Bruce. If you're talking about the Dunfermline, King Robert the Bruce was buried in Dunfermline Abbey. you can actually go see that. It's like I don't know if it's gold or if it's just gold plated, but you can actually go into the abbey, which is now the cathedral. They turned Dunfermline into a city. It's now recognised as a city because they changed the abbey and declared it a cathedral, which you need to have if you want to be called a city. You need to have a cathedral. But he's buried there, and you can actually go in there for free and see that. Really beautiful place, and all the old cobbled roads going round as well. A little bit not as nice as Edinburgh now, but still a really nice place to go visit. History in Scotland is steeped with it, like, you know what I mean? So much. There's a brilliant documentary series that the BBC did, narrated by a man called Neil Oliver, who's a Scottish historian. He's actually just a historian, but he probably does specialise in Scotland, but he does a whole UK series as well, the coast of the whole of the UK. So he's very knowledgeable, not just on Scotland, but the UK, and probably quite further afield as well. In particular, like Australia, I'd say he knows about Scots travelling abroad, and also to America and the like. But the documentary series on BBC is A History of Scotland. If you can find it somewhere, do watch it. It's absolutely brilliant. I really, really loved it. I learned something quite a lot about it. Things that I never knew, things that I thought I knew, but I stood corrected, which was brilliant. And he is the guy that pretty much changed my perspective on the movie Braveheart. And I wish the true story was told. I think it's because it wouldn't make for as good viewing. It wouldn't probably be a Hollywood movie if they told the true story, because William Wallace, he was a bit of a bad bastard. Do you know what I mean? Folklore would have you think that he was just this ultimate hero that did no wrong. But of course, back in the day, these guys were the victim of their families. Their people were the victim of bad stuff, and they also did bad stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it does portray him into being this really, really good, nice guy. He was a bit of a mean guy as well, but a legend too. But yeah, a lot of the Neil Oliver. Anyway, History of Scotland, Neil Oliver, a BBC documentary series narrated by Neil Oliver. Do check it out. You will not regret it. It's absolutely brilliant. All right, Chris, how you doing, mate? Yes, the Jacobite Rebellion. Like, actually, I think with the Jacobite Rebellion, they got down as far as Derby. I don't want to be quoted on this one, but I think they got down as far as Derby, and they heard rumours that there was an army mustering, a huge English army mustering in and around London, and they panicked and they turned back. Bonnie Prince Charlie turned back and went back to Scotland, but it was all lies. It wasn't true, and if he'd carried on marching, he actually might have went a lot further into the capital, which is crazy to think. But obviously, as the rebellion carried on, they got weaker and weaker, and they were beaten in the Battle of Culloden. And in my way of thinking, I'm a unionist as well. I'm not a nationalist. I'm not a Republican. I like the royal family, but obviously, Scots fighting Scots. Scots have fought Scots everywhere. Again, like the War of Independence there, where you had the Brits ultimately being beat by the Americans. There was Scots fighting for the Brits, also Scots fighting against the Brits as well, which is... And then obviously Ulster, if you know anything about Northern Ireland, very, very, very unionist place. So you've got Scots unionists over in Ulster going over to America, fighting against the British. They would have been... Ulster Scots would have been unionist mentality, but wanted freedom from British rule, which is... It's strange, isn't it, when you really break it all down? But I'm glad the Jacobite Rebellion never won in Scotland, to tell you the truth. I think Bonnie Prince Charlie, he was from the Stuart dynasty as well, wasn't he? Elizabeth I, obviously, was she a Stuart as well? I can't remember if she actually comes from the Stuart dynasty as well. But Bonnie Prince Charlie, he was from the Stuart dynasty, and they changed their religion like the bloody weather. Like the weather, they were Catholic, they were Protestant Catholic. They didn't know what the hell they were. I think they just picked and chose whatever suited them best as an individual, not actually about what they believed in. traitors in the ranks lied and said there was a huge army, I believe you've probably tried to heading towards them in Derby. Elizabeth was Mary Queen of Scots' cousin. Yeah, I think they were both Stuarts, weren't they? Obviously, King James II. There's so many battles. Obviously, me here in Northern Ireland, you've got the Battle of the Boyne, which was I think James II was a Stuart as well. Bit of a Jacobite uprising there as well, wasn't it? And he was beat by King William, obviously. Sort of known as King Billy towards people from here and parts of Scotland as well. He beat him at the Battle of the Boyne. Obviously, he had the siege of Derry. If you're in Londonderry, the city, there's the walled city. It's absolutely brilliant. I've been up there a lot of times, and it's a really good place to see the walled city. And these guys were trapped inside the walls. The Protestant people from Scotland that obviously came over during the plantations were surrounded by James's army, by the Catholic army, and they were left inside the walls for a number of months, starving. They were eating rats, dogs. They resorted to having to eat anything they could get their hands on until King William's fleet came up the Foyle, and they broke the boom, and James's army retreated. So that's how they managed to free the Ulster Scots people now from who were trapped inside the walled city of Derry, Londonderry. Yes, mate, I did shut down my Facebook page, and it was purely because of the politics that was surrounding it. I think you had the election in America at the time. We're not long after the whole Brexit stuff here in the UK. Politics. And I'm just like, I don't care. When people realise that their vote doesn't actually matter, will be better for us all. You think you're voting for one thing and you get the other. I'm not voting anymore. I'm done with it. These people are all charlatans. They're all bought and paid for. They're all just doing a job of what somebody is telling them to do. I cannot be bothered with it anymore. And all I was hearing was, if you do this, this will happen. If you vote this way, you're this, blah blah blah. And I just could not care less anymore. So I just like, Facebook has to go. It has to go. So that was the reason why I got rid of Facebook, but Instagram's still available because I can just post my pictures there. It's not deep. It's not people getting all deep and mean, like, and on their hobby horse, on their soapbox preaching. I can't be bothered with that. I'm more interested in the stuff that I'm saying. Obviously, they do touch on things politically, but it's more in a historical way that I want to do. I want to learn about it. I understand politics has a huge part to play in history. It has a huge part to play in modern stuff that's happening right now, and it will do in the future. But ultimately, I would rather focus on the events as they happened and not so much on the politics, because if you're working class, you lose either way. You're shafted by these people. These people don't care about you. None of them care. In America, Democrats, Republican, whatever. In the UK, Conservative, Labour, Liberals, whatever. None of them give a shit about the working class man. We're shafted no matter what way you look at it, aren't we? The rich get rich, the poor stay down at the bottom, and they don't care about us. So that's the reason. Just got bored of it. But I am on Instagram. Do follow me on Instagram, and I will talk to you through Instagram. It doesn't always alert me. I have to actually go into it and find it, and then I can get talking to you. But it doesn't always alert me straight away. Chris, I would agree with you. The Covenanters is something that was really interesting to me. Scotland outside Israel was the first country in the world outside of Israel to sign a covenant, a direct covenant with God, where 100% of the country signed this covenant. I believe it was in around 100, signed this direct covenant with God, which is crazy to believe in the modern world where we're not as religious anymore. But people were literally breaking down in tears in services. That's how much it meant to them. Really interesting that. I did enjoy that. I can't stress enough how much you need to check out A History of Scotland if you've got any roots here or any interest at all to Scotland. But I love it. I love Scotland's part that they've played in the world that we have today, the Western world that we've seen today, and indeed other parts. I mean, India was huge. There was lots of Scots, obviously military sent to like India, all around the world, of course, in the Commonwealth, parts of Africa, parts of Southeast Asia. So their history as well is just as interesting to me as well. Singapore, my grandfather lived there. His father worked there in the port. He was the main pilot of the busy port of Singapore, directing all the ships coming in and out of the port of Singapore, which is now the busiest port in the world. So he had a hugely important job there, which my grandfather lived there because he was there working. His father, I should say. So very interesting Southeast Asia as well, and Malaysia, countries like that. Hong Kong, the Black Watch were the last regiment ever in Hong Kong. They handed Hong Kong over, gave them their independence, which they probably wish never happened now. God love the Hong Kong people. They're getting it tight with Chinese push on them. You're seeing that right now in other parts of the world in and around China. They're forcing, they're trying to take more territory, overseas territory in the China Sea. It's quite distressing for the people of Hong Kong. And I think I've seen a lot of Union flags being flown. They would love to be part of the UK Commonwealth again. Certainly, it would be better for them. From what I gather, I'm not saying I'm not speaking as one. I'm just from what I think I've read, it looks like it would be better for them. But yeah, I can't stress how much you need to check out that. I'm quite interested in it. Just found your React vids about 30 minutes ago. Just dropped the sub. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep watching. Thanks very much, Michael Hall. I'm not too sure what video you watched. I've done loads of different reactions from loads of different countries all around the world. I've got a keen interest in the world that we're living in, particularly at what I've already mentioned. I'm not going to go over it again, but yeah, that's the reason why I've got the interest in it. Because my little small country had a huge part to play in it, basically. Cut a long story short. Who do I think Scotland's best football player is? There's several candidates. There's a few of them in the Premier League in England right now. I think Andy Robertson was got to be up there for a shout. John McGinn at Aston Villa. McTominay's really coming on leaps and bounds at Manchester United. I think Tierney's doing okay. If he could keep himself fit at Arsenal, he's a good player. There's a couple of guys I'd like to see at Rangers, but they're not getting there. They're not there just yet, but they're improving. But I think I'd like to see a couple of Scottish guys, more Scottish guys in that English Premier League making a good name for themselves. I don't think there's individually we're brilliant, but I think collectively we're improving as a nation. I actually support Scotland. It's a notion lost on quite a lot of Celtic fans. They support the Republic of Ireland. Don't ask me why. Scottish born, it's a different story altogether. But a lot of Rangers fans that have lost heart in the Scottish national team as well, because when Rangers players play for Scotland, they get booed because of the nationalist sort of fan base that's grown, which is sad because we're deep down, we're all Scots. But I do support the Scottish national team anyway, but it is quite difficult when you see your own players getting booed. Yeah, Elizabeth, that's exactly it. YouTube's probably one of the most refreshing places because you can pick and choose what you want to watch. And on Facebook, you can't always do that. You've got friends that are of a certain perspective and they're entitled to their opinion and view. It's just I don't want it forced on me as if I'm less intelligent or I'm less of a human than they are because I like certain things that maybe they say I shouldn't, or vice versa. Everybody's got opinions and that is just it. You're entitled to them. Best of luck, Robert. Good luck, mate. Good night. Very interesting, Joe. I know she was a Tudor, but because her being the cousin, was she cousins through the Stuart family tree, Elizabeth I? I'm nearly sure it was that. Yes, are you kidding me, mate? That was actually the Black Watch that did that. Black Watch pipe band. A lot of people I know were actually in that service, handing over Hong Kong. Really brilliant. It's a very famous video. It was boomed. That video live. That live video was shown around the world. It was huge at the time when Hong Kong was handed back its independence. And as I say, I think now that they're kind of regretting it. They wish they were still part of the UK, and it would have served them better than what's happening to them now with regards to China. But really good. Do check it out. The Black Watch parade in Hong Kong when they were handing China over. Do check it out. Cameron Highlands. Yes, the Cameron Highlands are up in... Oh, let me get this right. Oh, my head's went blank. It's on the Borneo island, isn't it? Next to Borneo. Cameron Highlands up there. I could be wrong. Fraser Hill, Maxwell and so on. It was too hot on ground level. Young Patterson is definitely one for the future, mate. What I will say about young Patterson is it's disappointing for him because Tavernier is obviously the skipper, and I'm talking about Rangers here. Tavernier, he's the captain, he's the skipper, and it's going to be hard for young Patterson to shift him. I don't see how he's going to get much game time next year, which is disappointing because I really want to see him play more. Perak, yeah, that's right. Night, Robert, mate, good luck. Who starts up front for Scotland, McBurney or Patterson? I would say neither, to tell you the truth. I would probably go with Adams, Che Adams. I think he's probably the better option. I don't rate Ollie McBurney. I don't rate him. He annoys me. I don't like the way he pulls his socks up. Doesn't pull his socks up, if you like. I just don't like his demeanour. I think that he's got a bit of an ego and he's got no right to have it. He's not that good. So, no, I'm not a fan of Ollie McBurney. I would probably go with Adams. I think he's more of a goal threat. It's a shame, really, because we used to have a lot of good Scottish strikers playing in the Scottish League, but that's not really apparent anymore. Young lad Kevin Nisbet coming through at Hibs. I think he's getting a lot of attention from England. I would actually like Rangers to sign him. Not a lot of Rangers fans would maybe see it that way, but I think you could get him reasonably cheap, and he's definitely one for the future. We've seen young Scottish players like Wright coming, Ryan Jack when we signed them. They've came to Rangers and they look like they've stepped up. They look like that, playing with a better level of player, a better level of coaching. Has brought their game on, and I think that would happen with Nisbet. I'm not sure if I rate Itten. I think Defoe's old. You're not going to get 15, 20 games out of him next year if he does sign a new contract. So Nisbet's definitely somebody I'd be excited to see in a Scotland jersey, but indeed a Rangers one, I'd like to see it, but I don't think many people, Rangers fans, would share that. Watching boxing tonight, I possibly watch the boxing tonight. Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders, isn't it? Possibly. Oh man, 20 million for that kid. I remember him at Swansea and he was trying to hire himself out to get signed for Rangers, and I didn't. I didn't rate him then, and then he was trying to, and then he went on Sheffield United, and I still don't rate him. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. Only £2 on that. I'm not going to say how I watch it, but I managed to watch it without paying a penny. I won't say it on a live stream, but I will certainly try and find a way of watching that for free if I'm up and awake. Fashion Sakala, new player at Rangers as well. Quite excited to see him. I'm going to give him a lot more time. Obviously, I'm not expecting this guy to be a marquee, the marquee signing. I think Rangers. I think Rangers now going for Champions League football would be wanting to bring out a player that would whet the appetite of a lot of the supporters. I think he's going to be a good addition from the stats I've read, but I'm going to give him a little bit more time purely because I think he's probably been added into the squad rather than the first team. I do expect to see direct first team signings or somebody who is going to be immediately fighting for the first team shirt. I think there's players that we could strengthen in and around the first team. We have got players that are getting a little bit older as well, but I'm excited about seeing him. He can play in and around that anywhere in that front three. I think he can play the main number 9 role, which is quite exciting as well. I think that might mean Defoe, if he does get a contract, will be probably offered a coaching role as well. But I'm expecting another couple of... Obviously, they've got that guy coming up from Bournemouth, off a bar, however you pronounce him. I'm not too sure he's going to set the world on fire, this kid. He's not even getting it on at Wycombe. I think he's possibly injured. I hope he's been injured because he's not even been in the squad. And if he can't get in the squad at Wycombe, then you're not playing Champions League football for Rangers, are you? So I'm not convinced of him. I think he's possibly somebody that they're going to try and develop further that could potentially be a good player. Big fan of Canelo myself. I think that he's a hard hitter. He's possibly pound for pound best fight in the world right now. I'm not too sure. Good question, John. Do I think that there should be pretty much a British Premier League that you're coming up with there? Look, I would love to see the Old Firm in the Premier League. You could argue sporting integrity on it, but I think Rangers and Celtic by their own right are huge clubs, and you'd love to see them playing against better opposition every week. I don't think it will happen. I don't think England really wants it to happen. I don't think most of Scottish football could afford it to happen. Is it right for them to do it? Possibly not. Would I like to see it based on a competitive for competition for the Old Firm and obviously being respected more globally because they're playing against better teams? Then 100% I would love to see it. But I personally don't think it will happen. But for the Old Firm's point of view, we need to be playing better teams week in, week out, purely to be taken seriously as well. I've actually talked to people about Rangers over the last few years and people just laugh at me. Like, they just laugh at me, and to me, that's one of the biggest disrespects you can do. You can give constructive criticism, you can even slag us, but when people just laugh, shut up, Rangers, mate, you play in Scotland, people just laugh. That is the biggest insult you can give, in my opinion, and that would be one of my main fuels for wanting us to be in a British-type league, playing against better teams, is so that just to stop that laughing, because we are two huge clubs, institutions, global fan bases of like probably about 20 odd million between the two of them. So on that point, yeah, I would like to see it. You call yourself Fashion? Well, I know he never called himself Fashion. It was probably his parents, but what a name. What a name. Where are they pulling that one out from? Absolute insanity. Yeah, I'm not too sure how that would work with regards to the EPL, Scottish Premier League merging, making a British team. Would it be fair on the Championship teams in England who have been fighting to get into this so-called top flight for just Celtic and Rangers to just walk into it? Again, the whole dimensions of it, it's going to be unfair on certain teams. You can't get away from that. But should they be playing against better teams week in, week out based on the size and stature of the clubs? 100%. Yeah, Chris, totally agree with you. I don't think Itten's a right player for us. I think he's a target man. He's good at holding the ball up. He's strong. He can win you the ball. But ultimately, the way we play in that front three, he seems like a little bit of a lost sheep there. So possibly signing him is with regards to working with Kent and Aribo, and maybe something different from Morelos. He can play in and around there, so I think that's the reason why. And I do agree with you, what they're getting out of the players, which is one of the reasons why I said Nisbet. I think he's got potential as a Scottish striker to actually come on leaps and bounds if Rangers signed him, but I don't think they will. I think Gerrard likes to shop either in the English market or, like you've seen Belgium there, we've seen signed Roof, Hagi, and now Sakala from Belgium. So he's shopping in these sort of markets where are affordable to us, but maybe breeding grounds for players that are looking to make that next step to a bigger club. Rangers are a brilliant platform, and the coaching style that we've got right now is phenomenal. It's up there with some of the best in Europe, in my opinion. So I would like to see Sakala play a lot of games. I don't know how well it's going to work. We'll have to wait and see on that, but I certainly agree with that. Like, I think if he's any good, our coaching staff will improve him 100%. Hello, Jake. I hope you're doing well. Is this live? Yes, it is. You're new. Thanks very much for joining. Just going through your few messages. His real name's Timothy. Good job he changed it. Anything's better than Timothy. I'm not going to go into why. It's too long a story. But Commentary Rangers, you cannot be called Timothy. So he's changed his name to an improved name of Fashion. Fashion. What a name. Europe, the Elite Super League, that died a death, didn't it? With the three big teams of Juventus, Real Madrid and Barcelona still digging their heels in over this. It's quite embarrassing, to say the least. It's something that would have been the ruination of football in a way, and to be honest with you, it takes that competitive edge out of it, that promotion relegation thing. The romance of football, being relegated, the lows of that, being promoted, the highs of that, it just took that away. That took the soul out of competition, didn't it? All these rich teams wanting to put themselves together, and the self-proclaimed elite teams of Tottenham and Arsenal. Arsenal got knocked out of the Europa League of Villarreal, who are not that good just now at the moment, are they? But they've managed to find themselves into the Europa League final. Arsenal calling themselves an elite European Super League club. Tottenham, likewise, nowhere near it. Tottenham are atrocious. They are a good team based on money of the Premier League, and that alone. They have no great history. They're not a silverware winning club. Their fans don't demand, and I mean demand, success where you have to win, and you have to win on a regular basis. They aren't that club. They're a small fan base, and it really pisses me off to see these clubs calling themselves elite. No way. How's Hadji perform? I'm a mixed bag on Hadji, because Hadji's one of those players that can chip in with an assist that can win you a game or score a crucial goal for you, but be missing for most of the 90 minutes. I really can't put my finger on what Hadji is. If Rangers aren't playing well, Hadji can be an empty shirt. Do you know what I mean? So, but he does pop up with these key moments in games. His stats are pretty good. I do think he's improving, but I like players to be a little bit more aggressive on the football field and a little bit quicker, a little bit more direct. He doesn't have a lot of pace. I think he's done well this season. We've won the league, so I'm not going to be too critical of any player. He's played his part in that. He played quite a big part in that, and he's done quite well for us in Europe as well. So I think it's more positives than negatives on Hadji, but he does need to improve. He needs to be a little bit quicker, in my opinion. He can be lackadaisical at times. Hadji's dad was absolutely incredible. Georgie Hadji's dad was one of the best players ever, in my opinion. Really loved him. And I think Hadji gets linked to quite a lot of big moves based on the name Hadji as well. He's by nowhere near one of our best players in our team right now, but he's been linked with big moves. And I think a lot of that has to do with the name on the back of his shirt. And I'm not taking anything away from him saying that he's a bad player, because he isn't. He is a good player. But there's players in that team that are better than them that should be probably getting more attention at bigger clubs, if you get what I mean. I would say Hadji possibly can get lost in the Scottish Premier League. Just commenting on Genmo's message there. I do think the physicality of it can cause him problems. But that being said, the little bit, when players start to get tired towards the end of the game, Hadji's able to pick out that pass that can just split a defence onto a striker's feet or onto a striker's head that'll win you the game. Do you know what I mean? So he's these key details in the game. He's got that. He's very, very both-footed. He's very both-footed. He's technically gifted, and he has the vision and the awareness and the ability to pick that pass out. So maybe a slower league like Portugal, Spain, France maybe would emphasise just how good he is, because you've seen him playing better in Europe, where the games are a little bit more open, the tempo's a little bit more slow. It's designed for both teams to be playing proper stuff against each other, rather than this 2 banks of 4, like playing against 10 men sitting so deep, no space whatsoever, and when you get near them, they hit you. Less skill, if you like. It can kind of make it more difficult for the like of a Haggis. So, yeah, I agree with that statement. Have you ever eaten haggis? Yes, absolutely. I love haggis. I eat it in loads of different ways. You can have a battered haggis supper, which is battered haggis in like a battered sausage shape, but battered haggis on your chips from the chip shop. Absolutely beautiful. Salt, vinegar, chippy brown sauce in Scotland. Lovely. You can have chicken balmoral, which is your chicken breast sliced open with the haggis inside it, wrapped in bacon, and I can't remember the sauce that most. You can have like a peppered sauce as well with it. There's different types of sauces you can have with that, and your potatoes and your nips. Your haggis nips and tatties is the traditional dish of Scotland on Burns night as well. Turnip and potato. But haggis is beautiful, yeah. You can have it in so many different ways. You can have it in your breakfast fry with your sausages and your bacon, your potato farls, or your soda bread, or whatever. So, yeah, lovely. Do check it out. Arizona, thanks very much. Way down in Arizona. Thanks very much for joining Curious Sea. Really appreciate that. Suppose you're just pretty early for you over there. Probably still early in the morning. Thanks very much for joining. Oh my God, it sounds so gross to me. It actually isn't. Don't focus on how it's made or the ingredients of it if you like. Try it. It's got a bit of a spicy flavour to it. It is delicious, let me tell you. If you actually ate it and you don't think too much about it, I guarantee you'll enjoy it. It's really, really nice. I used to be like that, not so much focusing on the details, but because I didn't really like the spicy stuff when I was really young as a child. But as I've got older, I love it. I love it in all different types of ways of doing it. You can be a little bit more adventurous with haggis. It is the traditional dish of Scotland everybody knows about, but I'm not sure if you can get it in the US. I'm sure you can, because I know Burns Night in America is getting a lot bigger now. Won't be as big as St. Patrick's Day celebrations, but Burns Night is becoming quite a popular thing now in America, to my knowledge. And I do believe that haggis is getting exported a lot more from Scotland. I don't know how they do it, because it has to be refrigerated. So it's obviously transported in fridges somehow. Check it out. If you can get it, eat it, try it, let me know. Deep fried Mars bars. Well, I'll tell you something. I never ever ate the deep fried Mars bars. Obviously, it's traditional. It's well known, and that Scottish people have done the batter deep fried Mars bar. Absolutely delicious. I've done other chocolate bars and deep fried them. I think other countries would call it like a fritter if you do that with like chocolate or certain things. You call it like a fritter, where you batter it and deep fry it. But it's delicious. Let me tell you, absolutely love it. Oh, you used to love it, you eating spicy stuff, but your stomach rejects it now. That's a shame, really. Haggis is probably more mild spice, and being honest with you. But when you're younger, you tolerating spicy food. I never used to like the spicy stuff when I was younger. Those I like. I know I like have a bit of a sweet tooth as well, but I would have to do the Mars bar. Personally, I haven't done the Mars bar. I bought it out of a chippy. But I know a lot of chippies where I was from, you could go in and ask for any of the chocolate bars selection, deep fried basically, and they would do it for you. Lovely. I've had Kit Kats done. I've had Freddos, which are made by Cadbury's. I've done them. The old caramel Freddos, I've had that done. Lovely, by the way. See, when you put them in the batter and you deep fry them and you take them out and it just melts. Oh my word, it's a taste explosion. Lovely jubbly. You're a fan of Richmond. Do you think their still in Premiership contention. Right now, they're not suggesting they are, but they're Richmond. So yes, I do think they are in Premiership contention. But their form right now is not suggesting that. Obviously smashed double the scoreline by the Cats on Friday yesterday. So not great form, but they're Richmond. If they make the finals, they're finals footy club, aren't they? They know how to get the job done there. They've been there, done that, bought the T-shirt. They've went the distance. And I'm sure they would be able to do it again. I'm going to have to call an end to this live stream. Thanks for everybody that's joined. It's been quite enjoyable talking to you all from all different parts of the world. Obviously, I had Curious C tuning in from Arizona. I'm really sorry that I'm going to be cutting the live stream, the live chat short on you. I have been going for an hour and 24 minutes, so quite a long chat. It's been enjoyable. People from all over the world there. I think we've had ones in Malaysia. We've had people in Australia, either coast of Australia there, Perth, Melbourne, South Australia. Really good to talk to you all. We've had people from Virginia and Florida. Really nice talking to you all as well. And as I say, I do apologise for Curious C. I hope to get talking to you again in the not too distant future, because I have ordered a new webcam. Just a question on this. Is the video quality, the picture good? Is the picture quality good on this? I know the audio should be pretty good because my mic's okay. I got quite a decent mic for the live stream. But I've actually bought myself a separate webcam that I think will improve the quality of the picture as well. It's not a 4K one, but it's a higher quality HD. So I think it'll be better. Nice Rangers shirt. Yeah, this is the Castor. It's based on the old retro top. Castor, they're a more expensive top, but I actually preferred it. I did have the home one, but when Castor launched Rangers stuff, they had a little bit of teething problems. The quality wasn't that great, to tell you the truth. But this one has been brilliant quality. Everything's embroidered. Just the small logo there and the plain Rangers badge with no stars. I absolutely love it. Minted. Absolutely minted. They do have the 5 stars on the back. They're not embroidered. They're just printed on, but really like the top. Right, thanks very much for joining, everyone. As I said, do check us out on Instagram. If you want to buy merchandise, you can. I don't know if it pops up on live stream. It would be greatly appreciated if you could can afford it. You bought one. You're getting something in return, aren't you? It's a hoodie. That's Gladiator Sports, obviously. My Gladiator Sports are NFL, NHL. I do rugby and AFL. Any sport that's hard-hitting, physical, and played with a competitive spirit, the gladiator spirit, if you like, a gladiator sport. I've incorporated that with my channel logo there. I don't know if you can see it very well. Maybe not holding it up great. I'll put it better up to the camera. Get these out the screen. So it's got the channel logo on it, and the pockets, the hood. They're warm. They're actually quite a warm hoodie as well. We do have T-shirts as well. There's other stuff. I think I've got mugs on there. But if you check out Teesprings through YouTube, you can buy our channel merchandise if you're interested and you can afford it. I can't make them any cheaper. There's not much profit out of them, to tell you the truth. It's the company that's linked with YouTube, Teesprings. Their prices, there's not much of a profit for the channel, but it does. Every little helps to helping the channel grow. Obviously, buying better stuff. Like, there's a lot of the stuff that we use for the channel to improve the quality of the visual and the audio, and of course making reaction videos behind the scenes that you don't see. Obviously, subscriptions to certain things, video editors, all etc. All these things go into the background and helping that, and also funding channel trips. Australia is one that we're planning on doing. I do want to do America and Canada as well at some point with the channel, and bring the channel to a place near you, and go and see the stuff and record it and do vlogs of our time in each of these places. Obviously, America's just went boom right now as well, which is fantastic to see. Really enjoying engaging with people in America. Just a comment came through. How you doing, my day one drill A? I don't know what that means, but thanks very much for joining. I'm really sorry I am going just now, but as I say, do check out the merchandise. Check out Instagram. I do have this channel and the Dawn of World Sports channel, which has done loads of American sports reactions, loads of AFL reactions as well, although AFL is more featured on this channel. It's a smaller channel, but it's sports only if you're into sports. And what else have I got? If you want to become a patron and get your requests in for guaranteed shout outs and reaction videos, become a patron of the channel as well. You'll find the links to that and any of the videos that I've done. Just go into them and go into the description section, and all that's there if you'd like to become a patron, as is merchandise and Instagram. Thanks very much to everyone who made this live stream enjoyable. I hope you've enjoyed it too, and I'll speak to you all in the not too distant future. Thanks very much, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.